Hi, you guys. This is Renata. I want to talk about something that I've been guilty of in the past and that has really been a challenge for me to get past, and that is the disease to please. I've in the past had a really hard time saying no to certain people and just standing my ground and saying that I can't do it. I felt much more comfortable doing what people asked me to do, especially if it was a family member or someone I was close to, or even in the workplace. And so I just want to talk about that, and I want to talk about why it's important to be able to say no. We have to just not be scared to say it because a lot of times it's fear. It's us feeling like we don't want people to see us or view us a certain way if we don't give them what they want. But at the same time, our needs are not getting met because we're meeting everybody else's needs. So we have to learn to say that word that makes us so uncomfortable. And that's the word no. Learning to say it is going to be one of the best things that you'll ever do for yourself. You'll feel good about standing up for yourself and saying, no, I can't do it. So it doesn't make you a bad person if you say no. It doesn't make you mean. It doesn't mean that you're rude or that you're rejecting someone that you care about. You just simply can't do it at the time. It doesn't mean that you don't like them or you're not going to be dealing with them in the future. It just means for this right here, I can't do it. And that's okay. That is okay. um, it really what it means is that you're setting boundaries for yourself and you're asking them to respect your boundaries. If I say no, then I can't do it. It's just not going to work for me. And that's just what you have to let people know sometimes. And for those of you who have a hard time saying no, here's a few ways that you can do that. You can simply just say no. Just say it. You can say no, thank you. You can say thanks, but no thanks. You can say no, I don't think so. You can say that's okay. If you're not comfortable saying that word, just say that's okay, and they'll get the message. You can say nope, not doing it. Or you can say this is not going to work for me. Or my personal favorite is I'm good. I say that all the time now. I'm good. And they know exactly what that means. If they ask me, do you want to buy this or do you want that? No, I'm good. It's just as simple as that. However you need to say it, say it. And say it with confidence. And the other thing is don't backpedal. Once you've made your decision that you don't want to do something or you don't want to support a certain thing, don't allow anyone to manipulate you or guilt trip you into changing your mind. And don't leave your decision open for discussion. Once you've made up your mind that you're not going to do it, then the answer is no, and no means no. Because people will try to change your mind. They will try to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do. So don't allow that to happen. So now that I've given you some ways that you can say no if you need to do that, I'm going to tell you why I think it's very important to say no. If you never say no to people, and you're so giving of yourself. I mean, many of us just give. We're just giving. We just deplete all of our energy because we're just giving people. Some people are just like that by nature. And as you know, people will take advantage of that, and people will take your kindness for weakness. So it's important that you don't give everything that you have. You don't give, you're not so giving that you've given all your energy, you've given all your resources, you've given all your money, you've given all your time. It's never ending. And as I said, many people will take advantage of that. So you don't want to be to the point where you're just saying yes to just about everything that people ask you to do, especially when you're doing it begrudgingly and you really don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. So you're saying yes, but you really want to be saying no, but you don't feel strong enough to say no. Well, you have to change that. You have to get stronger so that you are creating boundaries for yourself and you're saying, this is not going to work for me. I can't do it. Period. Because if you're saying yes to everything or the majority of things that people are asking you to do, and you have multiple people coming to you asking you for things, and can you do this and can you do that, and can you come over here? Can I meet you down there? Can you loan me some money? Can I get you to cook tonight? And all of this, and you're doing all this, you're stretching yourself so thin, then you'll never be happy. And that makes you a people pleaser. You're a people pleaser. If you're doing everything that everybody wants, then you obviously want to be liked or something. There's a reason why you just can't say no, but that has to change. You really have to change that. Let me give you some examples. When you're trying to be everything to everybody at work, at home, in the community, at church, with your family, with your friends, and you'll do just about anything asked of you because you don't want to feel that rejection, or you don't want people to feel like you're a bad person, or you feel obligated to do it because of who the people are. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a parent. Like, it's really hard to say no to your parents because we've been trained that we do what our parents ask. But once we're adults, there may be times where we have to say in love, I'm sorry, Mom, I can't do it, or sorry, Dad, I can't do it. I mean, there have been times where I needed to go to work, and maybe my mom would ask me to do something, and I say, I'm so sorry, but I can't take off work. I'll see if somebody else can do it. And I feel bad about that, but sometimes you have to do that. You have got to learn to say no, because some people in our lives, like, we just can't imagine saying no to them because we feel like we're rejecting them. But it's not necessarily that, and it's not you being mean spirited at all. It's just that you can't do it at that time, and it's okay. It's you having a backbone. We all need to have a backbone. I remember, here's an example. I remember, now this was many years ago. At the time, I had a best friend, and she had gotten evicted from her apartment, and this was just one of the many times that she had gotten evicted. There were times where she had her own apartment and she'd get evicted, and there were times that she had roommates and she wouldn't pay the rent, and so they put her out. Okay, so she found herself needing a place to live a lot. So this particular time, she asked me if she could move in with me. And my first mind, to be honest, said no, no way, because I've known her a long time, and I know that she is not a responsible person. I know that she does not pay rent. I know that she would prefer to go buy designer clothes and get her hair done because she was into looking good. She was into designer stuff, so I knew that she would rather do that than pay her rent, because history had shown that many, many, many times. And like I said, I knew her for a long time. So my first mind said, nope, you do not want a roommate with her because you'll be paying all the bills and she'll be walking around looking good. But I did it anyway. I did it because she was my best friend. I did it because I always felt bad for her because she had a really bad upbringing. She wasn't raised with her mom. Her grandmother abused her, and it was just, she grew up rough. She grew up rough, and so I felt sorry for her. I really felt sorry for her. So I guess you could say I did it out of feeling obligated. I also did it out of not wanting to look bad in our other friends' eyes, because the other friends that we had in common, they had families, they had children. At the time, I didn't have children, I didn't have a family. I had my own apartment, I had an extra bedroom. So in my mind, how could I say no when I had an extra bedroom that was empty? And so I did it. Again, it was against my better judgment. I let her move in. Of course, just like I knew, she never paid rent. She didn't buy food. She didn't do anything. She didn't help me pay electricity. She didn't do anything. But that was my fault. I can't even blame her. That was my fault because I felt sorry for her, because I didn't want to look bad in our other friends' eyes, because I felt obligated. When all along, I knew who she was. I knew that she was a nice person as far as a friendship went, but she was not a responsible person, and I knew this. So I said yes, and that was on me. I shouldn't have felt obligated. That was a one of those instances where I should have said no, but I will help you to look for a place because she had a job. She just wasn't responsible. She always had good jobs actually. But I should have said I'll help you look for a place or, maybe I'll help you find a roommate. But I shouldn't have let her move in just because I had an extra room or just because we were friends, because we had many, many, many arguments once she moved in because she was not helping. She was not fulfilling her obligation. So that was one of those instances where I really should have stood up for myself and said, no, I can't do it. Can't do it. Um, so needless to say, she didn't stay with me very long. But again, that was one of those times where I should have said no. And I have another example of someone I knew who didn't have a car, and I had a car. She had a car at one time, but her car was not working at the time, and it had been down for a while actually. And um, I would give her rides to the grocery store, and sometimes that would turn out to several times a week. I truly, truly, truly did not mind taking her to the store because, of course, we go to the grocery store anyway. So I didn't mind taking her to the store. But I did notice that she never, ever, ever offered gas. And this went on for a while that I would give her rides to the store. She never offered gas money, which I probably would have turned down anyway. But it's just the point that when somebody is repeatedly giving you a ride, it's only courteous to offer them, $5 or $10 or something in gas. But she never did. So, but that part was okay. Um, anyway, this went on for a while, and it turns out that um, the garage to the grocery store turned into the grocery store and taking her to the laundromat. Then that turned into the grocery store, the laundromat, and picking her children up from school. And sometimes I'd have to go get her first, and then we go pick up the children. Or it got to the point where she put my name on the list, so and I would just go pick up the children, which would infringe on some of my free time with things that I wanted to do. And it just kind of, I started to get a little bitter about it because it was just getting to be too much. But I never said anything because I was a people pleaser, because I was a yes person, because I wanted to have friends. And so I would do these things, but I was building up this resentment. And so finally I said to her, well, I go to the grocery stores on Saturdays. And so, because I would go Saturday mornings, that's when I would do my grocery shopping. So I said to her, won't you start going to the grocery store when I go? Because that'll save me, a few trips. So she said, okay, that's fine. Saturday came, I called her, I'm going to the grocery store. Oh no, I'm still asleep. It was always an excuse. I'm still asleep. My kids are not woke. I don't have a babysitter. It was always a reason why she couldn't go to the store when I wanted to go. But I continued, and then, of course, she would call me like she always did during the week, and I would still do it. Now, rather than me saying, nope, I'm not going to do it on a Wednesday because we already agreed that you're going to go when I go, which is Saturday. But me being the people pleaser that I was and not wanting to cause any waves in the relationship or in the friendship, then I would do it anyway. And so we have got to stop being people pleasers. I should have said, nope, if you can't go on Saturday, then you need to find someone else to take you. Or you need to take the bus to the grocery store because in that neighborhood, people took the bus to the grocery store and they had their little carts and they pulled the cart and brought it on the bus. And I should have said that because we're not responsible for everyone. It's nothing wrong with being nice. And I'm not saying don't help people. I'm not saying don't give them a ride. I'm not saying don't allow people to stay with you if they need a place to stay. I'm just saying create boundaries. We've got to create boundaries. We have to put limits on things. A few things that I've learned along the way about being a people pleaser is that number one, we teach people how to treat us based on what we allow. And in both cases, I allowed these people to use me. I can't blame them. I have to blame me. I allowed them to step over the boundaries. I allowed that. I allowed them to take advantage of me. I allowed the lady to say that she would go to the grocery store the days that I wanted to, but then still do the same thing and call me during the week. And there I was, right there. So I taught her it's okay. Doesn't matter what Renata says. If Renata says go on Saturday, just agree with her and then call her on a Tuesday if that's what you want to do. Because she's going to be there for you. She's not going to let your kids go hungry. And that's the other thing. I felt obligated. I felt if I don't take her to the store, then her kids won't have lunch when they go to school. Her kids won't have dinner. Her kids won't have breakfast. Her kids are not my responsibility. And I'm not trying to be cold because I'm a very helpful person. Anybody who knows me knows that. But I need to create boundaries. And I'm much, much, much better with that. But I'm still working in those areas. It's not okay to be a people pleaser because you lose yourself. You lose yourself when you're trying to please everybody. The other thing that I learned is that I don't care how much you do for someone, you can give them the last quarter in your pocket. You can give them your car, much less give them a ride. You can say, hey, I have an extra car. Let me give it to you. You can do all of that. You can be a yes person all day long. Your wish is my command. But guess what? They'll never be satisfied. You'll never have given enough. Just like the lady with the grocery store. Started with the grocery store, it went to the laundromat, it went to picking her children up, and much more. So people will never be satisfied. You'll never be able to please everybody. So don't even try. Don't even try. People will use you for everything you have. They'll use your time. They won't even be considerate of your time. They don't care. They don't care. How many times have you said, "Oh, I have to be here at a certain time." And then someone says, "Oh, I need you to do this." And it's at that same time. And you go ahead and forget what you're doing and you do what they need you to do. How many times has that happened? People don't care. They're not considerate of your time. They're really not. And so it's up to you to create those boundaries. If you're a people pleaser and you take care of other people's needs rather than your own, then you will never ever ever be a happy person. You'll never be happy. You have to put yourself on the list. You have everybody on that list of people you take care of, but you're not on that list. You have to put yourself on that list. Whatever you allow people to do, that's what they'll do. And it really is us allowing. So we can't like put it on other people and say, oh, they're using me. You're allowing them to use you. You're allowing them to treat you bad. You're allowing them to talk to you any kind of way. You're allowing this. So if you're allowing it, then you really can't complain about it. You have to take your power back and take care of yourself. People will burn you out. They will. They will mentally drain you. They'll use you up. They'll use up all your time, all your energy, all your money. They'll eat up all your food. They'll do whatever you allow them to do. They will. They'll borrow money from you. They'll ask you to watch their kids. They ask you to run to the store for them. They'll ask you to talk to them on the phone all day and all night about their problems. I've done that too. People will use you until they can't use you anymore, and then they'll move on to the next person. But like I said, don't get me wrong, there is nothing in this world wrong with helping people. It's really not. But everything has to be done in moderation. If you're a yes person and you're a people pleaser, then there will come a time where you will break down. If you continue down that path, you'll break down. You'll break down mentally, you'll break down physically. You'll be run all the way down to the ground. You've got to pull back on something. One of my aunts used to have this saying, and she used to always say, "You're not going to walk all over me." And that was something she always said. And I didn't understand it as a child, but she would always say, "You're not going to walk all over me." And that's exactly what it is. People will walk all over you if you let them. They really will. You're only one person. You cannot commit to everything. You can't be everything to everybody. It just won't work. It just won't work. So stop agreeing to everything because a lot of times we're volunteering. because we're so kind and we want to be seen in a certain light, and we want people to like us, and we don't want to feel like we're a mean person, and we feel like we can buy love. We feel like we can buy affection. We feel like we can buy acceptance from people, but we can't. If you're not with that inner circle that you want to be with, then it is what it is. You can't buy your way into a friendship. You can't buy your way into a relationship. You can't make anybody like you. You can't make anybody care for you or love you. If they don't love you and care for you and respect you for who you are, then you don't need them. Those are not friends. Those are not even relatives that you want to be dealing with. You can't show that you love somebody or that you care. And I'm thinking of how I used to feel. I used to feel like if I do for people, if I do things for people, then that would let them know that I cared for them, or that would let them know that I love them. But that's not true. It's not true. I don't have to buy love or acceptance from anybody. I don't have to show them with things that I care for them. I don't have to show them that way. But I felt that way. And I don't know what made me feel that way, but I felt that way. And I guess it was my own self esteem issues. It wasn't other people necessarily making me feel that way, but I just felt like I had to show them by giving things. I'm a giving person by nature. But I realized that, am I trying to buy acceptance? Am I trying to buy my way into people's hearts? Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't make anybody be your friend. People should like you and they should love you for you, not for what you can do for them. If people don't like you for you, then it's not genuine. It's not genuine. So stop overextending yourself. Stop volunteering to do things that goes against your morals and your values and your boundaries. When you learn to say no to people, sometimes people not gonna like it. When you put your foot down and say no, I can't do it, people would get upset about that. And a lot of them would try to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do by putting guilt trips on you, by uh, like the lady with her children. I felt guilty because she would say things like, "Oh, you can't take me to the store today." Okay, well, I guess I'll figure out how my children will eat tonight. And I would feel bad because here I am with a car to be able to take her to the store, and she doesn't have a car, and she has these small children, so I would feel guilty. But in reality, I love the little children, but they were not my responsibility. They have a daddy, they have relatives. I mean, it's not my job. It's not me being cold. I used to feel like, oh my gosh, that's me being so cold. I can do, even though I had somewhere to go, but I mean, I should do it anyway because if I don't, I'm being cold. No, it's not my responsibility. And we should help people. We should. And I do. And I always have. And I always will. But I will create boundaries. And I will keep my boundaries. And I will not allow myself to be used anymore by anybody. And that's what I'm saying to you. If you are that type of person that allows people to, quote unquote, like my aunt used to say, walk all over you, then you need to change that. Because if you don't, you'll never be happy. It is not your responsibility to fix the world. You can't do it. And saying no does not make you a bad person. So stop allowing yourself to be manipulated by people. Learning to say no, it's about boundaries. It's about standing up for yourself. It's about knowing your worth. It's about self-respect and self-esteem. And if you're constantly giving, 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 and you're not receiving, then what kind of life is that? That's not what you want. So the next time you get ready to say yes to someone, or the next time you get ready to volunteer, because that's another thing that I did a lot and still do sometimes, is I volunteer. If somebody just puts it out there, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to get to the store, then I'm the first one to say, I'll take you. Even if I really didn't want to do that, or even if I had another obligation, but I'm learning not to do that. It's okay sometimes, but I was doing it a lot and I was always very exhausted by the end of the day because I would just be stretching myself so thin. So it's okay. It's okay to say no. So the next time you get ready to volunteer or say yes to something, ask yourself, am I doing this out of feeling obligated, or am I feeling this, am I willing to do this because I really want to? And if you really want to do it, then by all means do it. But if you really don't want to do it, then the answer has to be no. And you have to be okay with that. And whoever you're saying no to, they have to accept that. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. The answer is no. So stop giving in to the disease to please. You're pleasing everybody else, but are you pleasing you? That's the question you need to ask yourself. So thank you for listening. Leave your comments below. Please tell us if you've ever had problems like this. Have you ever had the disease to please? Are you a people pleaser? Leave your comments in the comment section of this video. Also, thumbs up this video and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell in the upper right hand corner. That'll let you know when I post videos. Thank you for listening.